What's up, guys? Namco and Dustin here at Fantasy Smack Talk, week 6 of the NFL fantasy football season.
Yeah.
In this video, we're going to be going over trade questions that were in our forums, start sit-ems that were in our forums, and of course, our studs, duds, and sleepers.
All right, let's start with a trade question. This one comes from Jay Savlo 220. Looks like they're just looking for a kick in the butt on this one, but should they give up Rivers and get Michael Turner and Matt Schaub in return?
Well, obviously you're concerned about Schaub, but with Andre Johnson being 100% healthy, we think he's definitely not as bad as he's been. And you get Michael Turner, pull the trigger. All right, Dustin, KSU fan wants to know, should he give up Malcolm Floyd? In return, he gets Dallas Clark, and his current tight end is Mercedes Lewis.
The only reason I would consider this one is because I have no faith in Lewis moving forward. If you take away his touchdowns, very mediocre year, and I don't think you can count on those touchdowns all year. That's a big upgrade at tight end in my opinion. If you're okay at wide receiver and you can give up Floyd, I think that's a nice upgrade for you at tight end. All right, moving on. We got one from My GM is Serious with a bunch uppercase, lowercase.
It's a little confusing.
Making it confusing on me. All right, here's the deal. Let's set up their team for you. They have Favre and Sanchez as their quarterbacks. They're weak at wide receiver, and they're shallow at running back, but currently okay. Should they do Gore for Andre and Vic? And they also have Gore for Moss and Moreno.
Okay, I love me some Andre, but since you're shallow at running back, I think this is a great trade for you. You get Randy Moss, who's arguably a top 5 wide receiver, and then you still get Moreno to kind of help out that depth on your running back team. We say go ahead, it's a great expansion trade for you. Get Moss, get Moreno, good deal for you. All right, Dustin, before we get into the stardom sit-ems, there was a question that we put up on the homepage from KW Grand Drop Reg 808. I'm not sure why I need the 808.
Gotta have the 808.
I doubt that name was taken,
No.
but he wants to know which running back should he pick up. And the options were Felix Jones, Marshawn Lynch, Fred Jackson, and Green. The reason we're putting this up is Dustin was a little bit heated about this. Felix Jones and Marshawn Lynch tied with 31%. Fred Jackson got 25% of the vote, and Sean Green only got 13%.
This must be a shallow league if all these guys are available. But anyway, Marshawn Lynch should not be up there. Felix Jones is the pickup here. They talked about giving him more carries over the bye week. They proved they were going to, or they proved last week that they're going to give him more carries. Marion Barber sucks. Felix Jones is on a great offense. He's going to be, in my opinion, maybe even a top 10 running back from here on out. Bold, but possible. Marshawn Lynch, we don't know what's going to happen out there. I would even take Sean Green long-term over Marshawn Lynch. Just be careful with Lynch. Obviously, if you can pick him up, great move. But Felix Jones is the pickup here. All right, Brent, we got one from Rock Solid. Which tight end should he start this week? We got Mercedes Lewis versus Tennessee or Hernandez against Baltimore. And the Smack Talk community actually says Mercedes Lewis at 54%.
First of all, shout out to Rock Solid. You've been acting forums. Thank you. I'm going to go against the community. It's a little bit scary because they're normally right, but Aaron Hernandez is the guy that I would certainly start in this one. Tom Brady's going to want to prove to the world that he doesn't need Randy Moss. Aaron Hernandez gets the biggest bump in value due to Randy Moss being gone. I like Hernandez this week. All right, Dustin. BKS122 wants to know which quarterback should he start? Kyle Orton versus the Jets or Freeman versus the Saints. Kyle Orton did win according to Fantasy Smack Talk community with almost 70% of the vote.
I told you last week I'm never betting against Kyle Orton again, and I'm not going to again. I don't care what defense he plays. He's going to throw for over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns apparently. The guy's just
Bears
been
fans,
amazing.
how do you feel right now? That's unbelievable the year this guy's having.
I'm not saying Kyle Orton's a must start, but I am saying if you have him, try to trade him because his value.
He's a must start though. All right, Dustin, time to get into studs, duds, and sleepers.
All right, we'll start with my picks and Ahmad Bradshaw. Loved him coming into the year. He's showing us why he should be the featured back out there at the Giants, going up against Detroit. Gotta love that matchup. My dud, BenJarvus Green-Ellis. I picked him before I even saw who he was playing, and when I saw it was Baltimore, loved it even more. I hate New England running backs. Trade him now if you can. Once they're all healthy out there, value down the toilet for BenJarvus. And my sleepers, Kenny Britt against Jacksonville. This guy's out of the doghouse. He's scoring touchdowns. Got a nice matchup against Jacksonville. I'm all in on Britt this week.
All right, my stud, it's a little bit scary, but it's Tom Brady. Bill Belichick's going to let him throw the ball 60 times this game to prove they don't need Randy Moss. I think he has a big day. Orton killed the Ravens. I think Brady will do close to the same. My dud, Peyton Hillis. The Steelers have shut down Chris Johnson, Michael Turner, Ray Rice. There's no reason to think Hillis is going to do anything. And my sleeper, a little bit scary, is Mr. Drops, Dwayne Bowe. He's been just garbage this year, but he's playing the Texans, and all wide receivers looks good against the Texans.
All right, let's get into Mike's picks. We start with Frank Gore as his stud going up against Oakland. They're terrible against the run. Gore should have a field day on Sunday. His dud, Marshawn Lynch. You couple a couple of scary things. One, a tough defense, and also you don't know how many carries he's going to get. Scary situation for Marshawn Lynch this week, although he could see a decent amount of carries. And his sleepers, Matt Castle against Houston.
Doubling down.
They're the worst defense on the pass in the league. And you got to give Mike some props last week for calling out on Sean Hill. He was a top 10 fantasy quarterback, just like he said. He's saying Matt Castle could have the same impact this week.
All right, quick shout out to the tailgateradio.com. I was on this past Tuesday, and actually going forward, I'm now going to be on every Tuesday in the 8 o'clock hour and answering fantasy football question. So that's it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to go into those forums. We'll be as active as possible. Good luck this week.